How do you go about finding the problems in a house?
I don't know anymore. It's so passive. It's so passive. What I
Do you
mean by
dig
that,
in? Like, are you tearing into things to look for stuff? Like, how do you go about that?
it's
for somebody
visually
that's never
based.
had an inspection.
It's non-invasive. It's visually based. It's non-invasive.
Okay.
You know, the buyer may want that property, but it's not their property yet. So we can't go in and just start tearing the house apart. But what we visualize is different than what other people visualize, especially if you're good at what you do. And I think that when you get to do anything for a long time,
Yeah.
it becomes it takes a little bit more of a passive. It's a little bit more of a passive thing for me, you know.
Okay.
At this point, I'm very well acquainted with what I'm doing. So when I look at a house, it's very different than I did 15, 16 years ago.
How so?
I just know it, you know. You get to, like, I think it's anybody's career, you know.
Yeah.
A doctor, the first time he performs surgery, is probably really impressive and,
Yeah.
you know, stressful. When I was first learning, it was. I had a serious arachnophobia, hated
Ooh.
spiders.
How's that
Really.
work for crawling under houses?
It didn't work at first, well, at all. I remember the first time I did a inspection with my dad where I did the crawl space on my own. It was a house in Brush Prairie, Hawkinson, old property. Had a deep crawl space. It was like 3 or 4 feet deep, so it's like
Dream.
easy one to give to me, but it was an old home. And I was so paranoid about these spiders that were conspiring against me, you know, that I had to, like, not only put on my coveralls and all that stuff, but I had to, like, tape the connections between my gloves and because they're gonna crawl in there. Of course they're going to.
Of
And
course.
who knows what's gonna happen once they do?
Right.
The head cover. I got the duct tape around here, you know, and then I went in and I'm just staring, like petrified.
Because they're coming for you.
Yeah, they're definitely coming for me.
I love this.
Half the time now, I don't even put on coveralls. If I can get away with it, I want to save the 3 minutes. I just plow right through the spider webs, you know. So you just grow with it, and also just you grow with the industry.
Yeah.
When I first started doing inspections as ride-alongs with my dad, very early on, handwritten, no pictures. It eventually changed into computer-generated reports that were black and white, no pictures, no color, 12 pages long, printed on site, and people thought that was the greatest thing ever. You know, I've had the opportunity every once in a while, you know, I'll be at a house that I inspected a long time ago, and I would be embarrassed to produce it now. I mean, most inspections now are 50, 60 pages long, maybe more. House I did this morning will definitely be over 100 pages when I'm done with it.
Wow.
You know, so what the expectations of the industry's changed. When I first started, there were no laws governing the process. Now there is. I was grandfathered in.
Wow.
You know, so
is that regulated by the state?
it's regulated by the state. Yeah. So in 2000, I think 8, 9, Washington passed its laws. So you have to be licensed as a home inspector if you're going to do it there. I'm licensed in Oregon as well, so I do inspections in Oregon too.
Wow.
Kind of fuse both states together. So it's not that you're not thinking, it's just you get to be comfortable with what you're doing enough that you're no longer that impressed by what you're doing.
Right.
And I think that that's helpful too. You know, I'm not so impressed that my impression is rubbing off on a buyer. You know, I'm usually not going to be wowed by things.
Right.
You know, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to document the conditions. But, you know, me doing it 15, 16, 17 years ago, things were novel still.
Yeah.
You know, I'm running into things on someone's $400,000 home that I've never seen before. You know?
Right.
Like, you know, and that's just the reality of it.
And now you've probably seen most of it
Seen it
in one level or another.
one level or another.